Hey everybody, what's going on? So I just wanted to do a pop-up, and basically I'm here to ask questions. I figured, if people were hanging out and they have questions, or if I had questions or thoughts about looking at some new fish, I figured we'd look through some of the resources I use to look up stories to track down for the channel and everything. Some of the scientific journal articles that get updated with new species, stuff like that. And sorry, let me just mute this real quick. I have this stream on a phone here so I can see most of your questions. And Leo, the difference between an FX4 and an FX2 filter, canister filter, it's really just the size and the wattage. I mean, the amount of energy it uses plus the amount of space it has within it for filter media. And that's it. I mean, same with the FX6. Really, that's true with every brand of filter. Like that's what you're playing with. It all kind of works the same. You kind of need to appraise how much space they give you in a filter. Then you can do a few things like, you can optimize rather than using a cartridge or whatever, you like those blades that you put in, you can make your own lasagna of filter mediums or different sorts of polishing and finishing the water to different levels of clarity things. And yeah, so I mean, really, like, even if you have a really cheap hang off the back filter that's supposed to use those cartridges you add every month, where they are like full of, there's maybe some charcoal in them, maybe some fabric or some sort of woven like nylon or acrylic type thing in there, and then like cotton balls or something, and then they tell you to throw it out each time. Well, I think it's better to have the substrate and filter media that is going to be in there long term, and you get like a filter media bag, just like a little cheesecloth or a little netted bag, put that in there. But you can do different things, and different people have different opinions about which order to put them in. So do you put the finest sponge right before the water exits, or a step before that? Like, different people have different ideas on those things. But in my opinion, it generally goes your coarsest filtration, your highest mechanical filtration, then your bacterial or biological filtration, then up to your sediment and like particulate matter filtration, which is mechanical, again, just by being a screen or like catching debris. And then lastly, if you want to do like a polishing layer, then you can use some sort of cloth or whatever, cut to size, like a polish. They call it polish cloth or a polish floss. So hey, right on, Connor. Welcome. You said just finished watching your last night's stream, and now I'm hopping into this live stream. Live is good. Yeah, well, welcome, and I'm glad that you think so. Of course, that's the way it goes. Outside in aquatics. What's up, Marco? Amisa, what's up? How are you? Shrimping ain't easy. Hello. Coro, what's up? Let's see here. Are you willing to weigh in on the EPA's narrowed scope of the Clean Water Act? I'm not right now. I just don't know enough about the details. I know what was proposed and what they were talking about a while back, but they were going back and forth about what exactly all of that would cover or cut. and I don't know where that ended up. So I'm just not educated enough on the matter to speak on it with any adding anything to the conversation. Let's put it that way. JTTR, what is going on? Hope you are doing well, my friend. Leo, also good to see you. You're getting a Fajaka from the wet spot for your 125. Just need a filter for it. Ah, nice. Oaxaca's. You know, I love the wet spot. I'm trying to get them. I'm trying to organize us a group discount deal / affiliate deal with them. You know, I really like the stuff they have, generally speaking. I do quarantine a lot of what they have because a lot of it's wild caught or in with potentially like wild caught mixtures and things like that. So, well, that and they have a huge facility with, I'm sure, lots of nets. They probably don't have a net for each thing. They might, but I doubt it. Pardon if you hear wheezing. I've had allergies and asthma all day today. You know, the forest fire smoke has been an issue in the area, and all of a sudden it's supposedly clearing out, and it's the first day that it's getting to me. Passing wind, what's going on? Andy Carson, hello and welcome. Slousers, yo, yo, yo. You really like those neon gobies? Yeah, that I had as the thumbnail. They're pretty awesome. The Annies, the reddish orange ones, or the neon yellows or neon blues. There's so many now. I think there's like 60 some Stiphodon species. Bambi, hello, good to see you. I feel like it's been a little while since I saw you last, but hello. And Stuart Reed, what's going on? Beta Aquatics, what's going on? It's good to see all you familiar faces in the chatty chat. SC, also Cave of Wonders. Hello, hello, hello. You want to get some Malawa shrimp? Well, I'll have to make those available again. Definitely the normal ones are available. They're kind of they've been for a long time kind of my secret pet project, and now they are not obviously a secret, and there's the different lines people know about that I have. But you know, I think they're the best shrimp out there as far as, if you want lots of them, great, you can have lots of them. They reproduce quickly. They live in just about any water parameters that you'd be keeping fish in the hobby. That's, you know, a healthy tank. Maybe not in, you know, some cesspool that some people end up with, like in their 12-year-old kid's bedroom tank or something. But you get the point. If a fish can live in there relatively healthily, then your Malawa will definitely. And if a cherry shrimp can live in there, then the Malawa will definitely have babies and explode in population in there. But my thought with them is, great if you want them as the shrimp, as the focal point in your tank. They may not be the most interesting color wise, although I think they are, in that they have all these subtleties and kind of reflective colors and like sparkling patterns and little flecks of color and stuff like that. Sometimes they have spots and stripes and kind of like swirling patterns, and they change color throughout the day. But even if you're not into the natural, like just like a natural Neocaridina or whatever, if you're not into a natural looking cherry shrimp and you'd rather have a really bright colored specific one where they all look, you know, consistent, that's totally understandable. But you're not going to want to use that in your aquarium as your cleanup crew and or food source for your fish. Whereas Malawa, they grow so prolifically that I use them just as such. I mean, I use them as one of the things that I will throw into a new tank to colonize that tank, to create a micro biome that's very diverse. And those are kind of, I guess those and maybe nearite snails or Malaysian trumpet snails would be the largest thing that I usually start with for that. And then, from there it goes down all the way to bacteria. Hold on. Your 12-year-old kid's tank is awesome. Amisa, I don't doubt that. I mean, they've got you there. So that I take back what I said. I know a lot of tanks though, where I get questions where they're like, "My kid, I got him a fish. We set it up. Everything was going good. I told them they have to take care of it." And I came back and checked on it. And the 4-year-old, I mean, I was trying to teach him responsibility, and all but one of the fish is dead, and this one's hanging by a thread. So what do I do? And I'm like, well, don't give a 4-year-old a fish tank. Like, you're gonna take care of that. So, anyways, yes. Little Rivers Aquatic says hello. All right, well, hello. Let's see here. What else is going on that I was going to tell you guys about? Yeah, they as Amisa said, the Malawa shrimp, they're not neos. They're as easier than neos, I think, but they are normal caridina, but they're Caridina parensis or parensis paradentata. So kind of almost closer to an amano shrimp. SC Catahouyas, what up? Spinster Sister, hello again. I don't know if you just changed your name or if you are frequenting the stream more often now, but I love that screen name, by the way. Nathan Hovey. Oh, you guys are talking amongst yourself, but hello, Nathan. Let's see here. Craig, what's up? Craig and your cat fishy cave. So I also wanted to mention that I'm thinking about everybody in the path of that hurricane. I can't even say the name of that hurricane. What is it? Adelia. But I talked to Lucas Bretz about an hour ago, and he's doing well, which is good because last night I couldn't get a hold of him at it was 4 a.m. my time, which would make it 7 a.m. his time. And I figured the thing is making landfall. I wonder if he has any service out there. Cause he's really out there. He's not in a city or anything. He's on a, 38 acres or whatever he has. And there's water all around him, which is kind of scary, even though it's awesome, but it's like an abandoned mine that filled in with groundwater. So whatever the groundwater rose to is how high it came up to his fish barn, fish room, his house, and all that jazz. So I'll be curious to know what the max extent was. But he said that also his neighbor, who's a nice guy, he's into sports fishing like bass and stuff. Young kid lives with his parents, and his parents used to have the property that he now owns, that Lucas owns. And they were part of the people in a line of people who had bought that parcel of land hoping to mine for, I don't know what they were hoping to mine for, but they were digging around looking for something to mine, like buried gold or something. And yeah, let's see here. Gentle Rain, hello. What a relaxing name. Rob Miller, what's up? Algorithm, what's up? Ross from Baltimore, how goes it? I'm just looking through here. All right. I don't see any questions there. Let's see here. Come on, computer. Come on, computer. Computers are ruining our life. I don't think. I wonder, but I don't think. Fishman, see if they got it, see if it picked that up. I think it's a bot. I don't think it's actually Matt, but we'll see. We'll see if Fisherman, or rather, knows who they are without me being real clear about it. Um, we'll see. We'll see in a second here. Fanta's Aquatics. I'm preparing soil for my deep substrate setup. I got red soil, black soil with organics and waste peat moss. Do I need to put in other additives? I would say that you probably don't right now. Now you may find that you want root tabs later. You may find that you want to dose the water column later, but especially with the black soils, the all organic with manure and fertilizers and things like that in them, they are usually really rich in the nitrogen based compounds, the ammonia, ammonium, nitrites, nitrates. Yeah. So they're usually high in those things already, sometimes so much so that they'll harm the fish. Hence why obviously we cap. That's why we be capping, yo. I know amanos don't breed in fresh water. No, they don't. And that's another, nice thing about the malawas is they're kind of similar. Watch this. This will clear my wheezing and huffing and puffing. Yeah. Just put some of that mentholated chapstick right underneath your nostrils. And yeah, that'll clear your sinuses right up. Wake you right up to that or make you cry. One of those things. Nancy B in Tennessee. All my exes live in Tennessee. All my problems never mind. Let's see here. My fish tank aquatics. What's going on? Anybody heard from Mike Florida's fish rescue? I've not heard from him, but I think he's out of the way of the main storm. But I mean, there's still a lot of rain and decent winds, like maybe 50 miles an hour where he's at. But like Lucas Bretz and Grant Eater, like Lucas, like the eye of the storm basically passed him. Whereas Grant, he said he didn't have any damage whatsoever, just some stuff fell over, but he prepped for it and everything. And he's in a little town about an hour north of Tampa and St. Pete. And yeah, I mean, he said everything's good, and that was the storm passed over him and Shelby, the kids, they're doing good. Sorry guys, my hair is out of control today, but we will persevere. Let's see here. Melvin, hello, welcome. Here we go. Fishfam.link is sometimes automated and sometimes it's users, but it's always helpful. So, yeah. No, fair enough. I was just curious, and I think it is like a bot. Usually that responds in the first interactions. I don't know. Let's see here. Oh, interesting. Nancy says Matt said that FFL fishfam.link was getting flagged for too many daily comments. He was having to turn some things off on the bot. Interesting. Okay. All right. I'm gonna get to the leader of the pack. Comments wise. Oh wait, actually, I can't not answer questions when I see things going by. Yeah. Grant's doing great, Nathan. By the way, I just, seeing your question from a couple minutes ago. Um, Luis Carlos Herrera Maro Queen says, how similar in North Central America and South America? Because we have almost all Loricariidae family banned. How similar in North Central America and South America? How similar is North? Interesting. Really, they're separate. So if you look at large mammals and birds, those are going to overlap because they can walk right across the Panama Canal. They could walk since the two continents were together. But as odd as it may seem, if you go back in millions of years and evolutionarily, the you know, South America used to be actually more connected to Africa than to North America as far as like species and things exchanging. The Amazon used to be called the Proto-Amazon, the Proto-Congo dash Amazon. It used to be one giant river that spanned over the two continents that were together, mashed together. And this is, I think we're talking like, 80 plus million years ago or something. But even into, I want to say 40 million years ago, they split up, Pangea splits up and all that. And then you've got North America, Africa, and South America, and Central America is part of North America, but it's also, depending on the time in geological history too, it's kind of its own little area with like Baja California and up into Lower California, and then also all the way into the whole Mexican border region with the US, and then down the spine of Mexico through Mexico City, and the high deserts in between. There's like kind of like a big row of islands that was there for a while, and then the sea levels go down again, and then they connect up, and then so it's all part of the same shelf. But Panama and South America, at Colombia, you got that little connection point, and that's it. And that didn't happen until, I guess, I don't know. I think it's like 4 or 5 million years ago, maybe, is when it was fully connected and open for animals to go back and forth. But like Loricariidae, like Corridoras and stuff, they've been evolving for over 65 million years. They have little fish fossils that look like that. So yeah, but I don't know why you have certain ones that are if certain things are banned, like due to similarity of taxonomy, or like, if I guess what I'm saying is, I don't think there's anything out there that is going to have an interspecies relationship and evolve into some new hybrid species because it came across there. Another interesting little tidbit is that, well, sure, let's add it. Let's make it personal. So I was planning on driving. I was like, I'm going to drive from here in Seattle all the way down to Patagonia, and then I want to drive back, and I want to go all the way up through Montana or North Dakota, and go all the way up into Alaska that way through the center route, and see how the world is, and do it in a car or a van or whatever with a friend or two. And it turns out that in Panama, when you try to get through, there's not really any good roads that go through in Panama. Like, you'd think, of course, what do you mean? There's got to be, there's like a big bridge, and you can just see it in your head. You can imagine, like, yeah, there's like a jungle, and then there's got to be like roads, like freeways or something, and maybe they're on the side of a steep hill or whatever. but you can see it, or at least I can. I think of it looking like I don't know, Peru or Ecuador. Um, but no, the roads are too hard to keep up with, and it's very, very remote, especially like Costa Rica, where you kind of that southwestern part of the Central American peninsula there. It's very remote where that between there, where the southern part of Costa Rica, and then all the way to in the far south, but the northwestern part of Colombia also has some really, really, really remote communities where a lot of very, very illegal stuff goes back and forth there. But really everything else goes by boat or plane. There are some like roads you could theoretically take a 4x4 on, but they're not good roads, and they're seasonal too. And there's only 4 of them that go through it all, but they're like logging roads that are like muddy and stuff. There's no like highway that just connects North and South America. It's pretty wild. I feel like everyone else would assume that like, oh yeah, they're connected, whatever. Yeah, hey, OnlyFans Liquid Zoo is chiming in. Check out Trent and Allie on YouTube from, wait, where'd it go? YouTube from like 2019. They crossed it. It was not a good time. Oh wow, okay, that will be interesting. I'll definitely check that out. Yes, and you're Rorther, welcome. But yes, people also um do charge you to come through. Like that's a problem I've had in Central America anyways. Like you just be driving around and there'll be a checkpoint. Doesn't matter if it's a dangerous country or a safe country, but the federal police, if not the local police, but usually like especially in Mexico, the federal police, Colombia, the federal police, federales, they were so bad that they got disbanded in Mexico. They broke them up because they considered them an organized gang, like on par with the cartels. And so they broke it up because you go down there. Like what happened to us when I was in college is, we went down there for spring break. We went to California, to San Diego. We rented a car and we drove to Tijuana with 5 guys. Because what could go wrong with 5 18 or I guess 19-year-old guys going to Tijuana for 5 days or 4 days? So we went in there, and literally, I was at this hotel with one of the other guys, but 4 of the guys were together in the car with one guy they'd met, and they ended up getting stopped by the police in the city of Tijuana, which is full of Americans and Mexicans alike. It's not in the middle of nowhere, but they got like held up basically by the police, and the police phoned their parents and were like, it would be a shame if your kids got locked up for a year for possession of a switchblade. We found them in the car, and they had a switchblade in the center console, and nobody's fessing up, so we're going to give them all the charge. And that's like a weapons charge, yada yada. They went on and on, but they were trying to get basically, I think it was $500 or $1,000 from each kid's parents, and a couple of the kids' parents were not like reachable, and so they actually ended up getting about 1,000 or 1,500 from one of the guys' dad. Wired it down there back before there was any Venmo or anything like that. But then they drove them to the edge of Tijuana town, and they took their shoes. I think one guy had a cell phone that had international calling or whatever. The other guys, nobody even brought a cell phone. This is before smartphones and stuff. And so, yeah, they dropped them off on the edge of town. Guys, I'm going to stand a little bit just because my back's a little bit sore. But they dropped them off on the edge of town, took their shoes, and then they got Yeah, they got the business basically, but that was when they talked to the border folks that are Americans coming back into the U.S. and they're like, oh, how was your stay in Mexico? And they're like, well, it would have been better if the police didn't rob us. Um, and passing wind, I did not go see any donkeys, no. Uh, but I'm not going to comment on what the rest of the crew did. They were definitely into some hobbies that I'm not, or wasn't, still not. Silver Creek Aquatics, what's going on? Alexander Jedediah Mordecai Moonflower Williamson. I'm covered in spray paint, been having fun with some art inspiration. Right on. That sounds like a whole heck of a lot of fun. Right on. Going G, what's up? Mel, what's up? How are you? Skipper, what's up, man? How's it going, buddy? I hope you're doing well. I guess September 9th is the next Fish Fam auction. I'm definitely not going to be able to do that one just because I'm getting ready to go down to Florida on the 12th. The night of the 12th into the morning of the 13th is when I fly out. Like I guess it's not a red eye. I don't know what you call it, a shut eye flight when it's at like the actual flight's at like 6 a.m. But you got to get to the airport at like I guess 4:30. Oh, you got catfish bait on your hands. Ugh, going G rough. We'll pray for you. Oh, you're root tabbing, Mel. Right on. Agua Bonita, good water. What's up? Let's see. Okay. All right. I think we're good. I hope this silly thingamaroo has not had any. Nobody did any super chats or gifted memberships that I missed or anything, or member, like you've been a member 20 months or whatever. If I have, I'm sorry, and just ask again, please, and I'll get you. But sometimes the StreamYard doesn't want to cooperate. Okay, guys, so I've done enough yibbity yakking. Pibble Punk, the ordinary mammal, what is going on? Why are aquarium lights so expensive? Part of the reason is because they can be, because they want to charge more, because it's a niche hobby. Now, you can go out and you can buy an okay light, like a light that you will see your fish, it will grow your plants, but it's not optimal. It's not optimized for your plants and the growth of all that, really, especially with the LED technology. Now it's getting cheaper and cheaper, but there's only so many companies that make LEDs, and especially LEDs that are emitting a true full range of light and color in the light. Like if you were to send it through a prism, you get the nice rainbow rather than like a band of red, a band of green, a band of blue, with like some smudging in between of the colors. You want that full range, and even into the sub visual, the ultraviolet or infra red ranges is great right at the edge of them. But the old school lights, I mean, why are they expensive? It's like light bulbs. We knew how to make light bulbs that would last 150 years, yet I mean, it's been burning now. There's one in a light or in a fire station. I think it's in New York or New Jersey, but there's a light bulb that the Edison company, I believe it was, made, and I think it had a tungsten filament, like a pure tungsten filament that was thick, and it's been on and it's still on. And I think like 1922 was the last time when like it wasn't on for like a day or something. but pretty wild. And it's never burned out. And we know that if you make the filament thick enough, that will happen. Now, it's also more wasteful to make the filament thicker, but with LEDs, they have different layouts, different little panels of light. If you've ever looked at them, they look like little squares or like little domes with two wires coming out that then get soldered like to a circuit board. There's a couple varieties of diodes, but now they're making the square ones that are usually like a number of different color diodes working into one. And that's part of why too it's expensive, is that there's only like 2 or 3 companies that make all of those lights and LED parts. And so they can kind of set whatever price they want, even if an LED, like even if you can get like a cheapo little flashlight or like the display on some little like this heat thermometer testing machine has a backlit display. It's not very good, but I mean, it works. In person, it looks good. But this isn't LED at all, other than maybe the color in the background. But this is the generation before, where it's all just magnetic, like either graphite or iron filings that get pulled on in different directions in those little, not pixels, but kind of stencils. But in any case, yeah. So it's partially because there is a limit to how many lights are being made and the quality of those components, and everybody buys from the same few companies in China. The other part is just because it's our hobby and they know that people are willing to spend that extra money. And that's where companies like Haiger or Aquarium Co-op, for that matter, their light is kind of a compromise between the two ways that you get that price down, which is the quality and material build, the functionality. There's no app, there's no other stuff like that. So that's another part of it. Okay, I just saw a super chat and I don't want to miss it, and I don't want to miss a thing. That was a really twangy country version of of that. I don't know why I did that. I'm so sorry, guys. Amisa also says, give Alex a big old thumbs up and y'all and share the love. Thank you, Amisa. I appreciate you. And 3G says, any info on breeding goodyads, butterfly split tails? I think those are a seasonal spawner. Now, they're a live bearer, but not all live bears are created equal. No, no, no. Live bears, sometimes they seasonally spawn, like a salmon, where they have, a set time to spawn and their hormones change and their bodies kind of gear up for it. And while they do spawn year-round if kept up to temperature, when you allow the temperature and the cycle of things to reflect what it's like in the mountains of central Mexico, where they're from, the Ameca River, the same spot that I went not that long ago, it's you can see like it gets colder at night, the flow and the oxygenation, all that changes. And my guess is the best way to trigger it, and I don't really know because I've never and hello wifey, my wife just got home. I've never intentionally spawned them. Like, I've never tried to do it in numbers. I've just had different goodyads and they've had babies occasionally. But if you were trying to crank them out consistently, my guess is you might do the opposite of a cold water change. You might do like a warm water change that then would kind of simulate when they're all together in kind of the more stagnant overflow areas of the river. But maybe it is when the runoff is high. I don't exactly know. That would be something to look up, like the environment down there, and also when they do naturally spawn. There's a lot of info on that species because it's gone extinct. Kenny, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you, my friend, as always. Let's see here. What else? Again, I don't want to mix a thing. Oh, the most expensive one is always the best, right? With lights. Yeah, no. You know, with aquarium lights, you get to around, I'd say for a foot of lighting, let's say you need, well, let's say you need 2 feet of lighting. We'll do that because that's more common, like a 20 long. So that would be like 30 inches to 24 inches, which would be like a 10 gallon of, it would cover everything from a 10, a 15, a 20, a 20 long, a 20 tall, maybe even a 29, or even like a 30, if you can find one of those that's not just one of the long ones. But you know, the price point is about $150 in my experience if you want a good light. Now if you want things bells and whistles, then you pay more. And there are brands out right now, and I'm actually scheduled to be getting a few different lights to try out soon here, which I'm excited about. There's a few little like kind of no-name brands or brands I've never heard of anyways that are out of, you know, one was out of, I think, Vietnam. Another one was just, you know, out of China. But I'm going to try out some of them that have things like the integrated app with your phone and the Bluetooth and all that for timers and things. But those chipsets and boards are becoming so extremely cheap and affordable that really isn't going to set things apart so much anymore. Now things like the heavy duty, like aluminum, you know, casing around it, the baffle or the ballast, and the fact that is it truly waterproof? Is it actually like all copper wiring inside, or you know, whatever that may be, the whatever's the most that's all, folks. Hey, look who it is. It's Grant from the Garden of Grant. He had a hurricane sale and all. If you guys missed it, well, you missed it. Yeah, Higers have been a pretty good medium, middle of the road one. Night Cruise, another one that's kind of middle of the road, where you're kind of getting some of that. But on the nicer end, you've got your ADA and your Kessel and your like really high end ones that are, you know, $500 to $1,000 or more. And those, I don't think you can justify the price necessarily. You could go buy 2 or 3 different other kind of middle of the road lights and get the same impact for the most part. The Kessel is a little special in that it is a spotlight and it has like a special lens on it that kind of redirects the light in an interesting way, but it makes it so you can see all the ripples on top of the tank kind of projecting out in the room. And it's kind of interesting in that sense. But good. Everybody say hi to Grant. It's take your Grant to work day. I dropped it into my tank like four times and it works like nothing happened. Slosser, are you talking about the Fluval Nano Light? Yeah. Fluval, yeah, they make decent stuff too. Some of the Fluval like low end, they're real entry level stuff. Man, it is not great. You'll see your fish. I'll put it that way, but that's about it. Other than that, you won't do much more than just see your fish. Mick says, don't forget to hit that like button. Thank you kindly, Mickey D, Mick M rather. Shauna L, what's up? I was watching Father Fish videos, and wow, if you want to add local bacteria, fauna, fungi, parasites to your tank, that guy's the perfect guy to talk to. He has extreme views on things. Yeah, you know, so I thought about making a video on this because I was like, man, talk about getting some clicks, talk about upsetting the apple cart, because I get along with Lou. Lou is he's always been very kind to me and a nice guy, but I have seen him get cantankerous and grumpy, which are 2 words that never go together with old man. But anyways, I've seen him get a little crabby with people, and he does have his way of doing things, his opinion, and I think a lot of it is fine, and I actually appreciate it, just like Aquarium Co-op, just like a lot of places. But now I do notice that there is more of, he is selling his own brand and he is selling it. It's not so much him just espousing what he actually thinks, but more of he's kind of carving a specific pathway and channel, if you will, for his brand, which is like nature only. And he's not saying that you have to do that by any means, or that his is a system that he invented. But at the same time, like, as he'll say, like, well, I don't know, they're calling it the father fish system. And I don't blame him. I'd probably be saying the same thing if everybody started, if the buzz started building around something like that. But it's not something he came up with. It's something that's been going around for a long time. And Mick says, Mickey D, a Swedish drummer from Motorhead and now in the Scorpions. Yeah, Scorpions, there's a good band that's been around since like 1967. They've been around forever. It's insane. But yeah, so to finish off that thought, like, he and I used to stream together in the mornings and stuff, and we have a lot of common agreement. Same with Lucas Bretz and I. We get along on a lot of things, but like, for instance, like aqua soil, Lucas Bretz not so fond of a lot of certain types, or doesn't like cycling things the way there's I think a lot of people are trying to showcase what's different or unique about what they're doing, which is great. But I think sometimes it turns into exclusionary of other ideas and other ways of doing things. And I'm trying to be careful on this channel in that when I'm promoting, say, information on how to build a filterless tank, how to not do as many water changes, whatever that may be, let's look at the actual implications in a fair and balanced, like, 10,000 or whatever you want to say, 50,000 foot up point of view, and also talk about, the cost of things or different brands or whatever it may be in a way that is a little more impartial, hopefully. But yeah. Okay, what else do we got going on here? Hey, is cap sand substrate to support microlife on it? Is it good, or is it too dense? That's a great question. Or should I go for aqua soil? So if you want scuds and medium to large microorganisms, which is a contradiction or oxymoron, I know. But if you want things like scuds, things like Daphnia, even seed shrimp, the aqua soil is much better than a sandy substrate or a deep substrate bed of sand. You will have scuds and things that live in sand, and they'll burrow a bit, and so will various snails and other things. But the voids in between your aqua soil, in between spheres, you stack boxes in a room and there's no spaces. You stack spheres in a room, and all the corners of those boxes or cubes have been lopped off, and those little I don't know what you'd call that shape, but the little corners, all of them are now little voids. And I think that is great for the microflora and fauna. The roots also enjoy it as well. Slosser, thank you. You can tell I'm trying to be an open-minded and balanced person. Yeah, and I don't have anything against a lot of methods that I don't use, or tech that I don't necessarily like or whatever. Like glowfish is one where I kind of let it show, but like I don't like them from some gut reaction. It's not necessarily even a logical reaction. I just feel like there's something too artificial, or too, like, they skipped the part where you spend, decades line breeding traits in there and doing this or that. But like, they did do a bunch of time uh breeding them and researching how to do that, and it actually even helped saved lives, as far as the work that was done, not to the end goal of a glowfish, but the work that was done beforehand in order to illuminate, for instance, specific tissues that are associated with like tumors or cancer, things like that. Um, that's where they got the idea or the ability to selectively grab a tissue and swap it with like the glowing proteins or compounds or enzymes that are the natural bioluminescence and stuff like that. A lot of that stuff started as, you add contrast dye, or you add a special UV light or whatever, and it's going to glow if it's there or present. And so there's the very real thought that like that whole industry and practice actually has another plus to it beyond the other, some of the negatives. The negatives up first being, like with the glowfish, that like you can't resell the glowfish that you spawn. They say they own the patent to that DNA or whatever, which I think is kind of silly. They don't, I mean, you can't do that with a poodle and say, I own poodle. But yeah, that I try to keep an open mind and think, oh, well, it gets people into the hobby. Oh, and what are the I play devil's advocate, So anyhow, pro glow, 3G, yeah. Um, Actually, if they could make fish that would actually glow in the dark, not just fluoresce under black light, UV light, that would be pretty cool. I might have to buy like a pleco that's like entire skin just glows like an iridescent blue. I mean, that would be really cool. I mean, someone could make a lot of money. The scary part is, I think with like CRISPR technology and stuff, that's not that far away. Yeah. Uh, yeah, it's wild. Okay, guys. You sold your glow babies and just called them neon beta. Yeah, I mean, with the betas, definitely you could probably get away with, yeah, doing that. I think though they're double recessive in for the expression of the gene. If I recall correctly. So I think you need, especially with the yellow color, I think you need both parents to have it, which is interesting. Which Medaka, Tengri says, which Medaka rice fish are good to start with? Well, let me show you. Let me show you. All right. So do, do, do. Anybody hear that Bob Barker passed away? That was a bummer. He almost made it to 100, but he didn't go over. He did not go over, so he still won the showcase. All right, let's see here. Yeah, I love rice fish. They're very cool. I don't know if you guys saw my story about the rice fish that were like, even purportedly Yakuza people got involved in selling these things. They were going for over $1,000 a fish, but somebody had let some glowfish out of a university back in 2010, had them in their private aquarium at home until 2020, and then they started selling them. I think they sold like 50 different pairs for $1,000 a piece. So I think it's 2,000 US dollars approximately. And then they have very strict laws against all that sort of stuff, letting bioengineered animals out into nature, as we should. That's a good thing. Okay, So I'm going to share the screen here. Over at Aquatic Arts, again, you can get 15% off. I've got that affiliate code of Fishtory1515. They have been carrying pretty consistently. They've been carrying a good amount of of the fishes. Let me get you guys up all the way. I'm all the way up. Oh, there we go. I'm all the way up. How are rice fish eggs with low temperatures? I want to order some, but Alaska temperatures are rough. They're fine into the 50s and 60s. You know, they're going to spawn most in the high 60s, low 70s, rice fish themselves. But the eggs, they won't produce in the lower temperature than probably, I'd say maybe 60 or so is when I've seen that they all shut down and there's no more babies possible. Maybe there's different strains though that have different sensitivities, but in or on the Aquatic Arts website they have these. These are a great first rice fish, the yohiki or yukihi. Sorry, there's the yukihi and the yohuki or yohiki. But anyways, you get 3 for $18. Let's see here, or you can get 6 for 34. Anyways, these prices are a little spendy usually on rice fish, but Aquatic Arts has some really nice ones, and I've started a bunch of lines with theirs over the years. Because you can go and you can get that, and then you could say buy some of these, which are more spendy, $38.99. But I mean, look at that beautiful, that beautiful stitch work on this fish. It looks like the the winning FIFA World Championship stitching on a soccer ball when it gets all crazy and elaborate. But very beautiful with the sparkling, what they call lame or lame, Lame, looks like the word lame pattern, which is just these little sparkles everywhere. They're iridophore cells, little kind of scale type things. And you get the trait of the sparkles here in the other fish that we just looked at. Plus you get the color on the tail there a little bit. You'd have probably a platinum. You can see here in this picture that there's actually a mottled color on this fish. There's like some pink and yellow, but then under it there's some white or clear. And so that's probably like a hint at the wild colors in it versus the ones from the last 350 years of breeding. But I think those, if you got like even just 2 kinds of those, you'd be off to a good start. But if you really want to make some money and have more diversity, you can get like here is a great deal. Here's 3 for 18. And these ones, you see a little bit of yellow in their tail. These are man-made as well, but they're a great hardy little rice fish. These can withstand all the way down into like the 40s or 50s usually, even if they were born in a warm room. As long as it's not right literally overnight. As long as you introduce them a little bit, they'll do great. But with this and say that black one, you'd have the different eye colors. You'd have a lot to play with as far as genetics go, and you could make yourself. You could Frankenstein together by crossing them, and it's pretty quick and easy to do that. Now, the other thing while we're here, oh, they're out of these. These were the craziest green tiger barbs they had for a while. There was something I saw these and I was thinking, man, that's a good deal. This is another one that I used to sell quite a bit of, and the prices actually just keep going up. I see these now for like 11 or $12 at Aquarium Co-op for mid to adult size, well-fed, healthy, prey cocks, or these little dwarf neon uh, rainbows, and they're fetching good money, and they have eggs where they spawn in a mop kind of. I mean, it's not the same as the rice fish are going to be, but it's pretty cool nonetheless, and they're easy to spawn nonetheless. So it's a good way to make a little bit of side money with a lot of these species, and kind of get into learning about the genetics of it as well. And I feel the same way about Sitomogills too. They're kind of a lost group of fish that doesn't get grouped in with anything else properly. I guess top minnows would be what they are, but people call them rainbow fish, people call them killifish, people call there's all sorts of names for them. So the other thing, what did I see in here? That there was another thing that got my attention that I was like, ooh, that's exciting that they had. I mean, oh yeah, they've got the very, very good price, $8.99 for the rainbow Stiffodon goby. These guys, this may not look like much right here, but when these are colored up, they're freaking electric. They are a beautiful fish. They don't live that long, only like I'd say a year and a half would be a really good in your care, because again, they're like shrimp, where they have to be born out born in freshwater. Within 2 or 3 days, those babies have to make it to saltwater so that they can get food that they can only eat. That they have to eat right as they're coming back in from the saltwater. They eat one kind of thing, and when they're going out, they eat another kind of thing. But their whole physiology changes. So to purposely get to spawning, essentially. Anyhow, let's there's one other one I wanted to show you guys. Come on, computer. Computer. Oh yeah. The rummy nose rasboras are back. Those are great. 3 for $17.99. They're just such a beautiful fish. I love these guys. I know they can be kind of fragile, but I love them. They're a cool fish. Tastes cool. They've also got white cloud minnows. That's another good one for scattering eggs for kind of an earlier first time if you're want to getting into spawning fish. Oh, this is what I was really excited about though on their site is the golden dwarf barb, which it gets called so many different things, different places. But it looks like they don't have a school of 16, but perhaps they have a school of 12, or 5, or 3, whatever you have to get. But these guys are a great price. Look, $13.99 for these guys. And if you've seen my videos, my shorts from Aquarium Zen, you'll know that these guys, the females stay this color like this. The males actually turn a beautiful translucent orange color that's really cool looking. And they don't have the black stripes quite as extreme as some other fish, but man, when they color up, they glow like a little gem, like an ember tetra or a neon tetra or something like that. So yeah, that's a killer deal. 3 of them for $14 plus a discount code. I mean, take my money. Shut up and take my money. Isn't that how that line goes? All right, guys. So let me. I may have missed some questions. I hope I didn't miss anything else. To every turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. All aboard! Ah, ha, 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 ha. I. Wish you could find panda loaches. They are smaller, a bit nicer than coolies, but so rare. By the yes, Schlosser, they are my favorite. I got some from Aquatic Arts. Aquatic Arts gets them in like pretty much every other Friday lately because it's the season. But unfortunately, they've been selling really quickly. But unfortunately, mine, I don't know if it was the heat that day. It got to 90 degrees in the fish room. Well, panda loaches live in a temperate climate or subtropic climate to temperate climate. And, their water is maybe 65 degrees or so usually. And in the shallows more than that, I'm sure, but on average. Hold on, guys. Black Medaka were £6 near me. Oh yeah, I know. Medaka used to be $1 or $2 a fish, or maybe even like 50 cents. You going for a walk, honey? Yeah. Okay. Have a good walk. Love you. But yeah, they used to. I mean, Go and G. You've got that right. It's hard to make money selling fish unless you're going to do it production line. Unless the fish is going to make, good money. Otherwise, you're really just kind of paying for. You're paying yourself back a little bit for food and for purchasing the breed stock, stuff like that. It's really not a way to make money. Maybe that is the video I should make tonight, later. Hey man, I'm sorry our internet cut out, but are there any good guppy population control fish that can go in a turtle pond? Hey man, are there any good guppy population control? Okay. So you want something that eats your guppies in a turtle pond. But I take it you don't want it to get rowdy with the I mean, it's hard to get rowdy with the turtle as a fish unless you got quite the jaws. I would say convict cichlids might work. What else? Oscars, things like that. Any of the medium sized cichlids would probably work pretty good. Also, more native stuff like a bass, a largemouth bass, smallmouth bass, something like that. Sunfish, any of those would work. They're going to eat them like there's no tomorrow. It just depends on what you're also allowed to do too. I know in some places you can't have outdoor ponds with certain things in them that are able to survive locally, like especially in Canada and stuff like that. What's the discount code for Aquatic Arts? It is Fishery 15. If you have not used it before, it's Fishery 15. And just like this, FISHTORY 15. And if you've already used that, Fishery 10 then becomes the code. But I also have a code for. That's not the right music. Alex, get your act together. Get your act together, young man. Why can't I get this to work? Maybe I really can't get my act together. Hold on. No, that's odd. I'm not being able to share the next. Oh wait, here we go. There we go. Okay. What's my opinion on duckweed? I hate the stuff in my tanks half the time. I love it the other half. It's going to help eat your nitrates, nitrites, ammonia. It's kind of like a safety net. It also stops your fish from jumping quite a bit, but it's a pain in the butt. It gets everywhere. It grows everywhere. It gets in stuff if you're buying and selling plants. People don't want duckweed. It's also kind of a place which can be good or bad that will trap algae if there is going to be algae where the light is real and intense at the top. It'll grow there, and then you can just kind of peel it off in one big chunk. That's kind of nice too. Certain fish will definitely eat it, which is also great. So yeah, I mean, I like duckweed in theory. It does have lots of nutrients, vitamins, minerals. You could sustain yourself off of it, and a few other things like what is it they say, like a lime and some salt. You'd have yourself the essentials. Because it's like 50. I have a whole thing on duckweed that if you're curious about the uses of it and some of the interesting things people are doing with it and stuff like that. Eating your salvinia. Interesting. Huh. I'll have to not do that. No, I'll have to try that out. All right, so one more thing I wanted to remind folks of is for now, I don't have a code yet for you guys for the wet spot, but that is my goal, is to get that into effect because they have lots of weird, oddball, rare fish, stuff like that. And I have been, pestering them, pounding on their door, poking them in the chest over and over again, saying, "Hey, hey, 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 hey. Let me be an affiliate. Let me be an affiliate. Let me be an affiliate." Ma, over and over for years, and now I see that Bob Steamfot somehow he weaseled his way in there. No, which is great. Good for him. He's a good guy. Hey, and look at this. We've got more Pythia gellius. More of these striped golden dwarf barbs. Like I said, I have a short where they're swimming around. They're doing really cool stuff at Aquarium Zen, where the orange is showing up in the males and the lighter color is showing really prominently in the females. So I really want to get like 20 of those and put them in a tank and let them school because they really do take on different characteristics. But I guess I should also make sure it's not some just color morph variant or whatever. Hey, they have black ruby barbs. That's really interesting for a really good price too. I just bought black ruby barbs. I didn't even know Dan's Fish would have them. He's got them for $7.99. They were $14.99 at the store where I got them. But these are not man-made. I mean, they're not like something that was just bred, concocted for the hobby over time, like you get with guppies and mollies and tiger barbs and things like that. These are a real wild fish that has some beautiful colors on them. Same with the drape fin barb. That's another one. This one has been a standby in the hobby for a while, but when it was new, it took the hobby by storm. That beautiful red. I posted on Facebook some of the pictures of mine, and they look very drab and just kind of meh in the store. But once I got them home, oh my goodness, they were so beautiful, and their interactions with one another fascinating. Yeah. Filament barbs, mascara barbs, they're all incredible. The tear spot barbs, expensive, incredible fish though. I mean, look at this iridescence in there. They're insanely beautiful. Look at that. It's like emeralds. And they get 3 or 4 inches. But these guys are wild. Dan's Fish just has the coolest stuff. Tonight he's going to be streaming. Wait, is he already streaming? I should check that. I don't want to be stomping on his toes. No, corridors do not wreck plants. But yeah, thank you, Liquid Zoo. The dansfish.com/ref/ Alex, you can do that. Or you can just go there and use the code Alex when you check out. It doesn't give you a huge discount, but it does help Dan know that, you know, I'm supporting the cause. He does it so ethically well. He quarantines everything a long time. He sources things the way I would source things. He's just so, I don't know that I could even run a business as ethically as he does. Like, I would probably cave and be like, whatever, we're putting bettas in shot glasses. But not him, you know, every little thing you could think that he could do to make the fish's lives better, he does, and it's really incredible. Dan is live. Well, in that case, I'm going to shut up and get out of here. He's doing a giveaway. Dan's Fish, if you don't watch him anyways, he always does updates on his fish. Not on all of them, but I like to look at his website like we were just doing. You guys can get a little bit of a discount if you put in Alex when you check out, if you want to check him out. And also, you know, like I said, I want to get a deal with the Wet Spot going. We'll check them out next time. The last thing I want to tell you is that I want to do a stream about recovery and from substance specifically, substance use. I don't want to get this stream shot down and locked up and thrown away. But I think what we'll do is maybe I'll give a shout out in the community tab about when we're going to do it, because there's a good chance it will not go out as a notification. But in any case, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, I just appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for coming, hanging out, and have a wonderful night. I might see some of you over at Dan's, and yeah, take care. I'll see you guys on Friday, probably around 4 or 5 o'clock, as long as traffic and life permits. You know, nothing crazy goes down. All right, guys, have a good one. You know, be good, guys. Wait, let me re-say that. Be good, or be good at it if you're being bad. That's my advice. All right, have a good night. Take care, guys.